Warning: the Montour High School administration, faculty, staff, or broadcasting students make no conclusions or claims that the story or footage you are about to view is authentic or fabricated. Any conclusions are solely drawn by the viewer. Anyone associated with this production cannot be held liable for any mental, emotional, or physical injuries.
Hello, Montour. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mr. Held, and we are standing in the tunnel below the auditorium at the high school. I'm going to tell you the story about Curly Bill Smith. About 7 years ago, Mr. Dines approached me and asked if I'd ever heard about the legend of Curly Bill. Of course I hadn't. I'm not from Montour. So I'll do my best here to give you the short version of what Mr. Dines told me. Back in 1957, when this was the only building up here, the Arts and Humanities Wing, or the old 9 and 10 building for those of you that were here before then, the auditorium hadn't been quite complete. Now, the Smith family moved to Montour about July or August, and they had a son, one son, Bill. Bill's nickname was Curly because of his curly hair. So Bill decides that he's going to come up one day to check out his new high school. So he walks around the gym. You know, it wasn't a lot to explore at the time. He ends up, of course, in the auditorium. As he's walking across the stage of the auditorium, he falls through the trap door. It hadn't been finished. It hadn't been completely locked and sealed. So he falls, and he actually falls into where we're standing right now. Now, the trap door was originally probably about this area here. And you figure without this drop ceiling, it's a good 12 to 15 foot drop. Now when Bill falls, he breaks his legs, his back, or his neck, and manages to crawl from this area back into this area, stairwell. Now because Bill was up here on a Friday night, they didn't find his body in the stairwell until Monday morning. Now, the unfortunate thing about it is he never got to graduate from Montour. He's not in any Montour yearbooks because he had just moved into the district that summer and would have been a senior. Now, that's 7 years ago when Dines told us this story. Myself, Mr. Dines, Catherine Schweitzer, Tom Zupko decided that we were going to come down here at about midnight. Mr. Dines told us the story. He took us for a trip down this tunnel into the various rooms. Now, at one point, we were in the costume room, and you'll see footage of this, and when we came out back into this tunnel that I'm in right now, it was pitch black. I was there. I initially will admit I thought it was a joke. We approached the trapdoor area, and Dines began to explain about him falling and him coming into the stairwell when Catherine saw something in this stairwell. I didn't see it, Tom didn't see it, and obviously Dines didn't see it because his back was to it. But when we went back and looked at the footage and talked to Catherine, there is definitely something there. That's my opinion. Now you're going to see footage because the new broadcasting kids have decided to revisit this. So we're going to take a look at this again, and they're going to show you the original footage from that night, and you can decide for yourself whether the legend of Curly Bill is true and whether he haunts this very hallway to this very day.
Now I want to show you where they find Curly Bills and sightings and little globes and all kind of stuff. I want to take you down to where the trapdoor comes out from underneath the stage. You'll be okay, Catherine. I want to take you down there, and we're going to see what we can see, okay? All right, come on down. Watch the door. I want you to get her in the door. I'll keep this open.
I think we've seen enough.
No. Come on, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. This is the best part, okay?
Best part? Somebody died.
Yeah, I know, and I feel bad. But most of the sightings have been at this end because this is where Curly Bill dies. He's right down through here. I want to show you the trapdoor.
He dies?
Somebody died?
Yes. Come down here. That's what Curly Bill did. He dropped. I want you to show you the trapdoor, okay? And you see how they sealed it? They put a metal latches on it, and they sealed it off. This is exactly where.
For now.
Okay, this is exactly where you can see where Curly Bill drops. Now that's a good 10, 15 feet up there. Now what happened is he dropped straight down, and now he either broke his his neck or he broke his back. And then he crawled into this room behind me, right over here. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Hey, where you go? Come on, wait for me! Wait for me, come on,
Next is the enhanced footage shown at normal speed up to and including what Catherine saw that made her scream. Pay special attention to the doorway to the right of Mr. Dines.
room behind me, right over here. What?
Now we'll look at the same enhanced footage at half speed with a highlight around the area in which Catherine saw what scared her. The following is the enhanced footage again, shown here at normal speed with a highlight around what Catherine saw.
Room behind me, right over here. What?
Whether you believe it or not, something very odd happened that night. I can honestly say that I wouldn't believe it myself if I hadn't been there. Quite possibly it is the scariest thing I have ever experienced.